Kill them all. Thank you very much. Hello. Anyone else? Anyone else want a piece of me? I'm not entirely sure if there are any up there. I don't really want to walk all the way up for nothing, so I'm just going to check over this way. No, it seems like there aren't any. And look at this. We're just running through. Ow. Are you serious? Hello and welcome back to Sturgian Viking Adventures, and well, you can quite clearly see our combat strength with the Sturgians has increased dramatically since the last... wait, did you see that? Not entirely sure, but anyway, the point is we're hovering around 8,000 strength at the moment, and we are now declaring war on yet another Empire faction. I'm actually kind of surprised about this because Ragnvad is going hard against the Empire faction, so we're going to be supporting him here because no one is saying no to it. So we're going to be declaring war against the Western Empire, the Southern Empire, and of course that is going to join us to the Northern Empire as well, because of course we've already done quite a bit against them. And I think we have successfully pulled off 11 raids. Obviously not me specifically, but seems like our vassals have been doing that. And it seems like the casualties inflicted, they are winning in terms of the casualties inflicted at the moment, but otherwise we're doing quite well in terms of prisoners taken as well. As you can see, the total combat strength of the Southern Empire is pretty awful, and the same thing with the Western Empire as well, although the Western Empire is doing much better than the Southern and the Northern. And it seems to me like the only faction, yet again, mind you, that can potentially, take us on right now, which I am very, very surprised about. I wouldn't have expected this in a million years, but apparently Sturgia is now starting to turn things around, and I think that is primarily due to my influence, because obviously I've been able to tackle a number of Battanians that has basically crippled their faction beyond all recognition at this point, because they can't really get back on their feet after having all of those vassals lose massive amounts of troops in those battles. And that's exactly the reason why I'm actually also attacking Mantios here. Mantios is basically one of the greatest vassals that you could potentially try to persuade. As you can see, however, Mantios is very difficult to persuade. We only have a 67% chance actually, and if I had actually succeeded in doing that, then we would have had a really nice time here. But unfortunately, as you can see, I'm missing one, so I won't be able to persuade him, but I would like to fight him. Wait a minute, let me actually just take a quick look here real fast. Mantios. I'm pretty sure he has... Oh, he has Epicrotia. Oh, yes, I'm pretty sure... Yeah, I kind of knew that he did. Oh, are you serious? That was terrible. Did you see that? I was like holding my breath a little bit there. I was like, oh, maybe I can, get a good little hit on there. But no. Get him. Ah, yeah, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Nice. All right, so let me actually just start moving my forces over here. Someone actually did give me a little bit of a nice tactical, shall we say, maneuver that I might be able to utilize quite nicely, and that is to place the flag of your hold position command in the enemy's lines itself, and just keep them in the shield wall formation, because they're going to move with shield wall into the enemy's formation, but they're going to do it in a much more defensive manner, so they're going to take less casualties as a result. Unfortunately, that does require me to be a little bit more active in actually telling them to do things, and as you can no doubt tell, me having the micromanaging skills to do that while I'm fighting and potentially having to dodge arrows and bolts coming in from all different directions might not make it that easy for me. However, if you can do that while being a commander, while sort of hanging back a little bit, that is probably going to be a very nice strategy to have. And I will try to utilize it a little bit more when we are hanging back in future battles, because obviously I was quite confident that we would be able to do this. Oh, Ragnvad's coming with 963. He actually wants to defend Varagos Castle. Why is he running all the way over to... the AI. I don't even know. I don't even know. Why is he deciding to do this? I feel like this is an absolute waste of manpower in pretty much every aspect. Ah, it seems like one of our other villages is now being raided by someone. Ah, Erinix. Hello there, Erinix. Yes, I also find, I don't know whether you've noticed this before, but I also find the fact that whenever you interrupt a vassal in raiding your village, they lose relation with you. I don't really know why that would be a design decision that should be implemented, because personally, yes, okay, you're definitely interrupting them doing something that they want to do, but they're doing something that is widely considered to be very dishonorable. And so I don't know why we would lose relation with them for them doing something bad to us. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm being penalized for them attacking my village, my innocent villagers. I'm not entirely sure why that should be the case, but, well, you know, not my game, then they can decide whatever they want to do. But otherwise, we're actually doing this. Yes, we are actually now declaring war against one of the stronger factions in the game, and everyone is for it. So I guess I will be supporting them once more, and we'll see what happens. But Vlandia is certainly someone that I don't really want to attack. And there you go, look at that. Lost some more relation with another person, which I gotta say I'm not a big fan of. Although this guy is actually the leader of his... yes, he is the leader of his clan. So we might be able to get him. Which would be fantastic. So let's see. Let's see whether we can do it. It seems pretty likely at this point, 100% chances all the way up, and it depends whether he actually joins us for free. He does not join us for free. It is highly unlikely he will join us. Yeah, as you can see. I might be able to get him if I release some of these lords. No. No. That's not going to work. No, not going to work at all. So I guess I'll just do another auto-resolve, we'll lose 2 units, and then we'll just take him prisoner. Because, well, there's not really any point in me doing anything else with them. But, yeah, I know someone actually did also suggest that we start executing some people. And while I would love to be able to do that, mark my words, you know, I had a great deal of fun doing that with the original Barney in the first ever series of Bannerlord. But the problem with that is that every single person in the world is going to start hating you. And we can't really have that be a thing, because if we have that be a thing, then we're never going to be able to persuade anyone. No one is going to help us, and generally bad things are going to happen all around. So I'm generally trying to stave off the urge to do a little bit of head separating from the shoulders sort of thing. So yeah, that is a bit problematic, to be fair, but well, I can't really do much about it right now. Otherwise, let's have a look here. Yeah, that's not really looking very good, is it? Okay, I'm going to try and call for a very... Yorig. Yorig is 5 days away, really. That is just absolutely awful. Okay, so this is a very modest, very, very modest army. And I would like to be able to tackle any vassal in the area. It doesn't matter how large or how small they are. There's a huge amount of vassals now. After the addition of all of these female vassals, all the new ones, it seems to me like there's a huge amount. Maybe too many. I'm actually not sure. Because each faction already has a significant amount of vassals in each of their clans. And don't get me wrong, I'm perfectly happy to see some more variety. But I think the numbers that they have might be a little bit too significant for my liking. But, well, it really depends. It really depends. Maybe it's going to be required in the end to actually start doing executions. Because if you can't persuade people, you know, if you have a bad run and you start to just have really low percentage chances, like 20% across the board, then you're never going to be able to persuade anyone. And then, well, obviously, if you go on from there and you start executing people, then people are going to hate your guts, and then it's going to be kind of hard anyway. So I'm not entirely sure what we'll do in the end. But yes, Roosevelt is actually having a great time, by the way. He is our new husband, and he is literally just winning tournaments in all kinds of different places, and it's actually hilarious because I get a message every couple of days that he's won another tournament, and we do need to get him in the party. Next time there's a period of peace, I will be getting him in the party. Oh, look at that, Incurion! Incurion was killed. Wow, that's a big loss. That is a big loss for whichever Empire faction he's a part of, because I can never remember for some reason. But yeah, anyway, that is a massive, massive loss to them. Incurion is one of the stronger vassals, and I'm actually wondering whether we're going to see another large army come out of nowhere and try to stop us. It seems so far that the Sturgians are doing a fantastic job, as you can no doubt see. Look at this, they're actually defeating another group of Western Empire vassals without too many difficulties from my perspective here. Obviously, I have no idea what kind of health their armies have or anything like that, and how many losses they're taking. Oh, hello, Raganvad. Oh my, what? He's... Okay, can you tell what has happened to Mr. Raganvad's army right here? Yeah, he has suffered a great deal of starvation damage, and that's the reason why he's running around with literally 190 units. If he just gets some food in his stocks, then he's going to have an absolutely powerful army once again, so it shouldn't be too bad. Well, here we go. Look at this. We now have the walls completely down. There are 768 in the garrison here. I'm just going to take a look at the garrison itself to see whether there's anything that we really need to worry about. They do have some Palatine Guards. They do have some Legionaries. And they also have some Sergeant Crossbowmen. That they are quite heavy in number as well. There's 27 of those. So those guys are going to do a lot of damage. But hopefully we're going to be able to defend ourselves with our shields, keep those up as much as we possibly can, and then we'll see what happens. But the walls are down, so that's pretty much all we wanted. And hopefully we'll be able to do a decent enough job. Especially, you know what? I probably should have attacked at night. Yeah. Attacking at night in this situation would have made more sense because, as far as I'm aware, weather effects and environmental effects, whether it's nighttime, whether it's daytime and all that stuff, that all still makes a difference to how effective your ranged units and how the enemy's ranged units are actually going to be. So generally, if you're able to attack in the nighttime, you're going to have a much easier time of defending against ranged projectiles, and hopefully I will remember that in the future, because you know, playing around with with those Imperial Sergeant Crossbowmen is certainly not a good idea, because we know how much damage they can deal. They mean business. Get them. Kill them all! Kill them all! Thank you very much. Hello, anyone else? Anyone else want a piece of me? I'm not entirely sure if there are any up there. I don't really want to walk all the way up for nothing, so I'm just going to check over this way. No, it seems like there aren't any. And look at this, we're just running through. Ow. Are you serious? Yeah, maybe, I don't know whether a normal person in real life jumping from this up there down to here, would you have taken that much damage? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe. But, you know, they've got to implement it somehow. So anyway, let's try and see if I can maybe get my two-handed weapon proficiency up a little bit with the last remaining units. As you can see, we have literally done so much damage so far that the enemy is completely scattered, confused, and they are in awe of the powerful Sturgian units that are ransacking their town. I'm sure they're congratulating us as they run for their lives. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Fantastic. I'm actually kind of surprised that we were able to take that so easily, because Epicrotia is, in my opinion, one of the harder fiefs to take. But we were able to do it with minimal casualties, and I'm hoping, now let's cross our fingers, right? Let's cross our fingers, whether this is going to be something that will hopefully be awarded to us. That is what I'm hoping for right here. Let's level up our forces a little bit here. I've got to be a bit careful about who I'm selling as well, because obviously we want to make sure that we sell everyone but the lords. We want to get all the regular units sold. There we go. Look at how many I have as prisoners. Oh yeah, that is what I'm liking. Very nice. All right, so let's go over to the trade screen here as well. There's 73,000 in here, so I can basically just sell all of my shields and things. And I think I can pretty much just wait here for some time. And if anyone decides that they want to besiege this, then go for it, because I'm in the garrison and there's no way you're going to be doing anything here. Thank you very much. All right, here we go. This is the decision that we've all been waiting for, and are you serious, Mr. Ragenvad? Are you serious? I am going to try and... Yeah, there we go. I could try to spend more influence so that it goes to me. Yeah, he could have overwrote that, potentially. He could have just been like, no, you know what? I'm gonna take it for myself. But no, he didn't, and it is now mine. Oh yes, perfect. Absolutely perfect. All right, so let me actually just take a quick look. Wow. No other towns in the entirety of Sturgia have the same amount of prosperity that Epicrotia has. No wonder Mr. Ragenvad wanted it for himself. I don't blame him for that. Ah, now what do we have here? It looks as though we have an army that is attempting to intercept us. And, well, you can see quite clearly here that Ospia is from the Vlandians, and we also have Justina, who is also from the Northern Empire. I'm actually wondering whether they're going to be attacking me. Do they? Do you want to? Because I'm just going to go and auto-resolve this right now. There you go. I mean, that's the quickest and easiest way for me to take something that has less than 100 units, or about 100 units in the garrison. And now I'm inside. Now I'm inside. What are they going to do? They can't do anything, which is actually hilarious. And basically, I saw this and I thought to myself, okay, yes, we're probably going to do a little bit of something here. And we'll probably give this to probably Vashorki or something like that, just to try and increase his relation with us a little bit, because we already have a decent amount with Oleg. And as you can see, look at that. Relation increased by 21 with Vashorki. That's just so incredibly crazy right there. So very, very much worth it. And otherwise, I would like to do battle. I would like to do battle with some of you. Thank you very much. Where's Ospia? Ah, there he is. Fantastic. Okay, so I'd actually just like to see where she's from. Ah, she is actually from Nikasor. Okay, technically I could just run away here now. Because here's the thing. I would like to do battle, but I have a number of wounded troops. So it would be quite nice. He's actually heading on over to besiege Ataconia Castle, which is to be expected, because you can see here that it literally only has 7 units in the defending garrison. So we're just going to stay here a little bit of time just to kind of get our forces back on their feet, but we're also going to try and bait him around a little bit. Have you noticed how the AI reacts and how it behaves whenever the player character is nearby to a potential castle? Have you noticed that? Because in the previous series of the Vlandian Knight, I actually demonstrated this to a certain extent, where we were in a situation where I was in Khuzait territory and I just taken a couple of castles up there, and I believe we were all the way over here. Yes, we were all the way over here. We had just taken Dinar Castle and Kesar Castle, and this guy who had an army wanted to take Kesar Castle super badly, but I was nearby, and obviously I had a pretty significant army at that point. And so if I was nearby to Kesar Castle, he would continue to go over to Dinar Castle. But now here's the thing. As soon as I moved away, his behavior would tell him to go to Kesar Castle instead. So theoretically, if I stayed around there long enough, it would pretty much either disband his army due to a lack of cohesion, or it would allow his units to start starving themselves. And that, in my opinion, is a little bit of an exploitable behavior that the AI tends to have quite often. And you can quite clearly see it here as well with Mr. Ospia, because I'm literally staying close to this castle, and as soon as I stay close to it or am in the garrison itself, he will leave, which is to be expected, of course, because you probably, as a logical person, you probably wouldn't want to go in when there's a pretty significantly strong vassal in the garrison at a particular place that you want to take, right? You obviously don't want to attack that. But as soon as I move away, it's a completely different story. If I move away, then he's like, oh, that person moved away. Okay, it's time for me to go in here now. That's the kind of thing that they react about. And it really doesn't give them that much of a sort of independent thought in many regards, because it literally just makes them into, well, puppets. You can pretty much manipulate them however you want as a result of this behavior. And while I would definitely say it's a good one to have, because you want them to not take fights that they are, of course, going to lose, or at the very least going to take significant casualties doing, but you also cannot have them running between A and B all the time, because that is just going to result in, well, some hilarious situations like we're already seeing. Oh, nice hit, Mr. Huskal. That was very good. Okay, I'm going to try and use my thrown weapons here. Did I not hit? Oh, I really want that satisfying sound of a thrown weapon hitting the enemy, but unfortunately I haven't been able to hit anyone here. But that is indeed a victory for us anyway, so it's not that big a deal, but still would have been nice. And I am attempting to, of course, level up my engineering skill as well. Wait a minute. Was that the enemy? It was. That was the enemy that died. We actually saw an enemy die for once. Oh, that is so nice. I mean, no offense, but, it's actually nice to see someone else apart from our husbands die. Husbands, yes, plural. If you haven't seen the previous episodes, you should probably check those out, because it is just hilarious. Anyway, yeah, here we go. Ospia. This is exactly the behavior that I'm talking about. Let's go back towards the castle. I was actually able to make it in there, and now he's running away. And now he's deciding to... Okay, now he's deciding to attack Mr. Ragenvad. That is probably not going to work, let's just say that. That is a very clear-cut thing indeed, and certainly not something that is going to work, because we are going to head in here, help him out. As you can quite clearly tell, the combat strength is significantly in our favor, which I gotta say I'm very confused about, to be fair, because Mr. Ragenvad himself usually runs around with some pretty low-tier units, but it seems like the Sturgians have actually started to upgrade their units a little bit more. And I think that is in part due to our efforts in recent times, in the past couple of episodes, our efforts in eliminating as many units as we can, and I'm talking about vassals here, eliminating them, keeping them prisoner for a significant amount of time, and then obviously letting them go inevitably. And once we let them go, well, then they have a very hard time in trying to play catch-up, because they have to play catch-up, they have to get all their volunteers back, they have to start leveling those volunteers, and of course they will be taking a couple of high-tier units from various places like garrisons and stuff, but other than that, they are going to have a majority of recruits. And that really makes a huge difference in how effective the Sturgians are, in our case at least, in leveling up their own forces too, because it's going to then mean that they have the advantage in pretty much every aspect, because that means that they will be up against units that are just merely tier 1. And did I really just get shot in the face and everywhere else and just murdered? Absolutely. Yes. I certainly did. But I wouldn't have done that if I thought that we were going to literally, have a tough fight. I would have been much more careful. But anyway, the point that I wanted to try and make is mostly the Sturgians are fighting armies consisting of basically 75%, 80% recruits. And that's the reason why Mr. Ragenvad's army, for example, is so incredibly strong right now. Even though he's only running around with 3 shock troops, and he does have 36 warriors, and he has a number of other... Oh, he has a number of other shock troops, and he has a couple of other things, but yeah. his army in general is going to be much stronger than most, just purely for that fact, just purely because he has been able to prey upon these weakened vassals because of our efforts, and that really makes a huge difference. Anyway, there you go. That is indeed a victory for us as well. It seems like we have turned the tide here, which I've got to say is very weird to me, especially as the Sturgians. I wouldn't have expected that because only a couple of episodes ago, like, what, 3 episodes ago, we were pretty much having huge issues. And, well, we are still actually having some pretty, pretty huge issues in the way that we're not really expanding that much. Because, yes, okay, we've taken Epicrotia, and that's pretty much it. We haven't really done much else, because we're declaring war on people that are relatively far away from our main lands, and I'm hoping that we'll make peace with hopefully one of the Empire factions, hopefully the Northern, and then we'll go over and try to attack the Battanians. If you enjoyed this video, then by all means leave a like, it is much appreciated, and otherwise I thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.